A P to the V to the E production presents with James and Blue.
Oh, this is lining up a lot more than I thought it would.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be too far off. I mean, we have maybe a few of them, but it's not like compared to like. I think if we were doing this list with Frank, it would be totally different.
Oh yeah. Totally.
So this is Thor 3, Thor Ragnarok.
So like, I know a lot of people love this movie, and like,
Yeah, let me just go ahead and put it on there. This is number 2 for me. I love this movie.
dude, I love Watiki. I like what he does. What they do in Shadows is a hilarious show. So, but like this movie, it's much like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I felt like they focused more on the humor than the actual like story that was going on.
Yeah,
And like, I feel like they undersold Hulk a lot. Like super undersold Hulk.
I think they gave away too much. They shouldn't have showed Hulk in the trailer because then it would have been a bigger surprise of us seeing him busting out in that arena.
Well, and it was kind of like a World War Planet Hulk kind of reference.
Yeah, I understood that.
And they didn't really capitalize on that as much as they could.
And then they didn't use him at the end.
I feel like they did way too much. They were telling two different stories. Like between like him going to the Collector, right, and also with like Hela like chasing on their tails.
And the Ragnarok story, with the whole.
It was just there's a lot going on in the movie, and like the whole time they're just making light and telling jokes left and right about it. Like, oh yeah, guys, all this shit's going on.
I mean that,
about it. And so like,
what's the rock guy? Kurg or whatever.
Yeah,
He's just nothing but jokes. You know what I'm saying?
I do love that.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Well, I do love that he got defeated by paper. Paper beat rock because he couldn't print enough pamphlets, so he got paper beat rock. I was like, that's a really clever joke. I dig that.
I mean, I got a little too high because I was thinking of a few other movies. Too.
Oh no, like mine, it's like super low.
I'm gonna put it at. I already have 4, so I'm gonna put it at 3 for me. I'll put it a little lower.
I would say. I would put it at like 21.
21.
Yeah, put Thor 2 as 22. Because that was definitely worse than Thor 3. But like,
not that much worse for you.
Yeah, not that much worse.
I did like Thor 2. Everything clicked for me on that movie. And it maybe because it was so much different than all the other MCUs.
So it was.
I love the futuristic aspect. I love anything. I get suckered in with futuristic stuff.
I mean, there was definitely some cool stuff that I liked about there. Like the Beta Ray Bill head in the building was like Beta Ray Bill is one of my favorite Marvel characters. So I was like, yeah, horse head.
And I still, even with the ruin of Hulk, I still enjoyed that Hulk fight. I still thought it was a good fight. I was pissed that he got shorted at the end, but it still fit in the story to me.
Oh, Jeff Goldblum was a fantastic casting. I loved Valkyrie. Like, it was really well done. It was just too comedic. There was too comedic, and there were too many storylines going on.
Yeah.
Like, I would have really, like, if they would have divided it up into 2 movies, made it like a Planet Hulk movie, and then
that would have been more ideal.
And then a Helen. Then I think like I would have liked both a lot more.
Well, I think this movie was like this was not necessarily a filler because it don't have nothing to do with anything in front of us, but it was definitely like an intro to the whole Infinity War and thing and stuff like that. Like it built up, and then at the end you see like it's building up to that, and that kind of makes it a little bit. It almost makes it where I feel like if I want to watch the Infinity War, I should watch this movie too.
It definitely got us right up to like the edge of Infinity War.
Yeah, so that's why I liked it a lot. It was just enjoying. This is probably the one that I've watched the most because it's just an enjoyable movie to watch. And it's one of those movies where you don't necessarily have to be like super concentrated to watch it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I just like in terms like it was an alright movie. It was entertaining as a standalone movie. Just in terms of MCU, I don't think it's needed. You don't really have to like watch it to know what's going on.
No, but because it wouldn't make sense if you went from Thor 2 to Infinity War. Thor wouldn't make sense because he didn't have, and Thor 2, he's more serious, stoic.
Yeah.
He's always worried about Jane all the time, like a big crybaby. Whereas in Thor Ragnarok, he really changed. He changed his perspective with Loki.
Yeah,
and the whole Asgardian people all getting destroyed and all that stuff. The fact that they they had to create that whole place in America and stuff. That's all from this movie. I don't know. I think it's a pretty good one.
Right on.
All right, man. So what we got next? Civil War. This is Cap 3.
Civil War. I think everybody forgets this is a Captain America movie.
I think everybody does too, because it doesn't really play. It's like half Cap and half everybody else.
Yeah, it's like half Cap, half Avengers. But you like forget the Cap part.
And there's so many other big intros in this movie. Yeah. This movie has to have the biggest intros of new characters out of all the movies, I think, because they introduced Black Panther and Spider-Man.
No, Black Panther gets introduced in Winter Soldier.
They don't introduce Black Panther. They just notice Wakanda, but Black Panther, the character, I thought comes out in Civil War.
Does it come out in Civil War?
Yeah, that whole portion of the beginning of the movie where he's chasing Bucky after, all that Civil War.
No, you're absolutely
only thing
right.
I think they referred to Wakanda, so they gave us like a little Easter egg tease that they got Black Panther in their mind. We didn't know it was going to come in Civil War.
Oh, that's cool.
So they had Black Panther and Spider-Man introduced in this one. So I was saying, what other movie introduced two mega characters like that? Civil War is important.
Well, it's a new character on either side.
Yeah, what?
It's a new character on either side.
That's true. I mean, yeah, they had to match it up, because that's the only bad part about Civil War is like they went heavily into the marketing of Cap's team, Iron Man's team, and then to the point that it was in the movie where you get the shot of like two teams running towards each other. I mean, there's some comic booky stuff.
So like, I like Civil War, but as a movie, it kind of struck me as like when you eat all dessert for dinner.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, like it's all like, I sat down to have dinner and all I have is pie and cookies. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna get full, but it's all sugar and crap, and I'm gonna feel like shit afterwards.
Yeah, and it didn't even have a very satisfying ending.
It really did.
You want to talk about a filler episode? Civil War definitely is a filler episode. Yeah, pretty much on all the storylines in there.
Yeah,
but I still enjoyed it. But yeah, it's definitely
you're gonna get like a next time on the Avengers. Yeah, I mean, there were great fight scenes. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great one-liners. Seeing Spider-Man in action was really fantastic.
Seeing Aunt May and Tony Stark over there.
Actually,
that whole scene was like blew the internet up.
Dude, watching Vision like just beat ass.
Oh yeah, Vision doing crazy level powers.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. But like I said, it was all sugar, dude. There was like no story. There was no real substance.
There was no real stakes.
Yeah,
I mean, like we knew none of them was gonna kill each other. You know what I'm saying?
Hardly any like dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like a bunch of like one-liners to aggravate the other side that led to the next fight.
Yeah, it felt like they were just wanted to create scenes to create action shots. Even at the end, that whole thing was created just to have an action shot with.
And then they had like the whole like face swap with like the really young Robert Downey Jr. that was like just an unneeded scene.
Yeah.
Like a completely unneeded scene.
To the point where we didn't even care about the face swap. He could have just been regular ass.
I totally could have, man, and I would have bought it. I would have been fine with just like a little over makeup.
A little makeup. That was a little overboard.
But no, we're gonna do this like face swap with the early.
Matter of fact, the whole face swap technology, the whole like the ripping, I can't stand it, to be honest with you, because they stole it from Mission Impossible, and Mission Impossible is more fake, but it's just done better.
Yeah.
It's just done better on Mission Impossible.
I don't know, man. I just so yeah, Civil War. I would probably put. I don't know. What are my rankings so far?
Yep.
I don't know. I throw it like 19.
19, so below Avengers.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Now I got a little higher than that, because I do like Civil Wars. Yeah, the story wasn't all. It was just a simple story, but they just had so many cool scenes, like 20-minute scenes. That's what from Crossbones, from when Black Panther and they're chasing Winter Soldier.
Yeah, the whole elevator fight scene was fantastic.
When Winter Soldier escaped and he had to fight Tony Stark, Black Widow, and what's the other girl? The Shadow Broker.
Sharon Carter.
Yeah. So they just had, and in the ending was really good too. Only thing I wish, the ending was so good, I wish they made a whole movie about that. That ending when they had Cap, Iron Man, and Winter Soldier looking for Zemo. I just wish it was a whole movie. I wish instead of Zemo shooting those other Winter Soldiers in the head, they were alive and they had to fight. Those three had to fight like those five.
That would have been just yet another fantastic fight scene.
And then they could have just they still could have did all that stuff afterwards. After he beat them all, and then Zemo was like, well, ha ha ha, I got this last thing. And
yeah, it was just one fight scene after another. You know what it reminded me of? It was like the plot to like a side-scrolling video game.
like a what?
Like the plot to a side-scrolling video game where you just like go and you fight like a bunch of soldiers, and then you get a cutscene.
Like a Dragon Ball or something.
Yeah, and then you get like a cutscene where the villains all
Dragon Age.
oh, we're gonna propel the story further, and then there's like, you know, fight, and then another cutscene. The villain's like, ha ha ha, I did this, and then you finally fight like the end fight boss.
Right.
That's what it struck me as. Like I just watched the plot of a video game.
I still liked it though. I'm gonna say I liked it. I'm gonna give it a. Oh, I just realized I got 2 number 10s in here. I got Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy.
You can go back and fix
Yeah,
it.
so I'll change it later. But I'm gonna say I definitely like it better than Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy. So this is definitely the 9.
Okay. So we got like a huge gap there.
We got a big gap there because because mainly the Black Panther and the Spider-Man scene sold that movie for me, and then the last part of it was so well that it kind of makes me forgive the other stuff. Matter of fact, all the scenes are done so well, made me forgive that I was just going from scene to scene.
All right, I'll move it up to 15.
All right, so next one we got is Hulk. This is the Hulk that has
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton in it.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that one?
All right, it's an interesting thing about Ed Norton and the Hulk, right? The original director, I can't recall who he is, but he walked out like halfway through the movie.
Because of Ed Norton?
Well, no, just like for his own reasons. Like he was just like, he's had artistic issues with like Marvel getting in the way of stuff, and then I think it was Columbia Pictures.
Yeah, because I can imagine that too, because Marvel didn't own it, but they're probably like sticking their nose in it.
Exactly, and it was kind of like one of these like too many cooks in the kitchen situations. So he ends up walking out, and Ed Norton, you know, who had directing experience, kind of just stepped up. And
Oh, did he? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so like a lot of the movie that you see are all cuts that Ed Norton directed.
Oh, okay.
And he did a lot of the script rewrites too, you know, without credit and like without being paid for it, which is really, really solid of him. But it also wasn't in his contract.
Oh, so he just kind of like went
He
overboard.
just kind of did it so that the movie would get done, you know. And then after the movie came out and it was a big success, he was like, okay, I want to renegotiate my contract for Avengers. And they're like, no, your contract is what your contract is. And he's like, yeah, but I did all these things for you. They're like, yeah, but we didn't hire you to do those things.
This ain't the first time Marvel screwed over a writer.
Yeah, this is true. It's absolutely true. So what Ed Norton kind of had like an ego about it, and he was like, well, good luck replacing me. And so they fired him on a Friday and then announced Mark Ruffalo on a Monday.
Oh, wow.
Like it was like over the weekend, dude. It was freaking ridiculous. That said, I really liked the Hulk movie. It was cool, but it's a Hulk movie. There's only so much you can do with it.
Yes, it is only so much.
Yeah, like it's just a big, you know, it's a Michael Bay flick, you know, like you're the big explosions, 2 big guys attacking each other. You're not going to get a lot of like character development. They did really good. Jennifer Connelly did really like fantastic in the movie.
Yeah.
I liked her as Betty a lot. There was some really, you know, really cool stuff. The Abomination, I'm glad to see that he's coming back in She-Hulk.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be really awesome, dude. You know, and they're able to get the original actor to come back, which is fantastic.
Yep. And I like that guy more so in other movies, but I like that actor.
I don't know, man. Lie to Me, like, always, like, messes with me.
Oh, you didn't like Lie to Me?
It was
It was a cultural phenomenon.
It was cultural. It was good at first, but then after like the 7th episode, you're like, okay, this gimmick only goes so far, you know?
I remember when that show was on, like me and Vanessa would be watching it, and then next thing we know, we're just staring at everybody's face, and everybody's staring at everybody else's face, and we're all afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, you just, no, it's so messed up.
Yeah, I did kind of go too far.
So I put Hulk probably at like 11 or 12.
Oh, okay.
Like, it wasn't bad, but there wasn't a whole lot that it could do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like, it did what it did really well. It introduced the Hulk, which is great. But especially for the character of the Hulk, when you think all of the great Hulk moments in the MCU,
yeah,
almost none of them are from this movie.
None of them.
None of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of. I remember, like, they have a cutscene of one shot, and that's when Hulk punches that dude in the college before he becomes Abomination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's Tim Roth.
That's right. That's Tim Roth. That's his name.
So I mean, like, it was good for what it was. You know, I got nothing really negative to say about it, but in terms of like the MCU, it didn't bring a lot to the table. It didn't propel the story a lot. It didn't even really, do much for the Hulk. Like,
I did like Edward Norton's performance and stuff, and I like the idea of him going to some guy to practice his breathing to control. I think that's the one thing they took. They made what is his name? Ruffalo. He had the ability to turn on and off his Hulk because he learned how to control his anger, and I felt like he was building that control in this first Hulk movie.
They did. They like touched upon that. Yeah. I like Edward Norton. There's a lot of people who go back and forth about liking Mark Ruffalo or not liking him, and I see it the same way as I see like how they handled Rhodey.
Yeah.
It's like,
I like both of those actors.
I like both actors. I'm not really gonna, like one in one movie and another in another. Like, I don't think I have to really pick.
No, I don't think so. There are issues like off camera, off screen, and it's like they were both good when they were in there. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel with both of the Hulks too. Yeah. This one's probably like a 15. I'm thinking it's like probably. Because if there's 25, it's going to be in the middle for me too. So yeah, a little 12. Yeah, it's like, and it might go up or down, but it's more in the middle type of movie for me. So what we got next after here? Doctor Strange.
So Dr. Strange,
which is the hardest one for me to rate.
Yeah, it's like when I first watched Dr. Strange, I had problems with it. There was like a lot that I was just like, well, this was some Inception bullshit.
Yeah, and maybe that's why, because I really like Inception. Maybe because when I first watched Doctor Strange, it blew me away, and I was like, oh, I need more of this type of MCU.
The more like I watched it again, like I watched Doctor Strange like 3 times, and every time I've watched it, I've liked it more. Benedict Cumberbatch, like, he was not my first pick for Doctor Strange.
Do you think it was Marvel's first pick?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, dude. There's a couple of others that I really would have rather seen in the role first, but then I was like, screw it. They haven't steered me wrong yet. We'll see where this goes. Mm-hmm. And after like watching it the second time, I really like how they do his Stephen Strange.
Okay.
Like they got Wong straight on, dude, which is great.
And Wong's a great character.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic. But I like his Stephen Strange. I even like the Ancient, like how they handled her.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she acted well, but to the point where I don't see why they made her that not an Asian person.
So the thing about that was they were trying to. So the Ancient one in the comic book was an old like Asian guy.
Yeah, like stereotypical.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're like, well, we don't want to do the stereotype, so we'll make her an Asian woman. But then there's like the stereotypical, like, the bitchy dragon woman who's coming after you. And they're like, well, we don't want to play into that stereotype. Right. And they're like, well, we'll do like the ancient white man. Well, that's just yet another white man. So let's do an ancient white woman. Well, that should be fine. And then people are like, why aren't you doing an Asian person? They're like, we literally can't win.
They can't win.
Like they're like, we can't win. Like, whatever we do.
They should have quit being scared. Just go with the story.
I was fine with like what they went with.
It was fine with it. Yeah, I don't have a problem. I ain't gonna be like, I like Doctor Strange and I liked her character.
My favorite part about Doctor Strange was that the story was resolved by him just nagging the guy to death. Yeah, like just annoying him.
He created a time loop that he could not break. The guy couldn't ignore him. He had to answer and make a deal with him. And it was one of the smarter endings in Marvel MCU, because most MCU endings, we all know, it's just punchy, smash.
Pop. Yeah, but no, this one was like, it was clever, it was smart. I liked how they showed Dormammu. Like, he looked like this big impressive character instead of like something you would see like on cosplay on the CW.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I give Doctor Strange like a solid 7.
7. All right. Yeah, you got him higher than me a little bit. I like Doctor Strange too, but to me, it still felt like one of those middle line type of movies.
Yeah.
And it was mainly about the Time Stone, about the Infinity Stone, and it felt like another one of those Infinity Stones. So I'm gonna put it right below. So this is gonna be between 10 and 11. I got Ant-Man, so I'm gonna put it at 13. Because one of these are gonna be 10 and 12 between Thor and the Earth Galaxy. So I'll put it at 13 for me. I did like, and mainly I want to see more of Doctor Strange. The one thing I didn't like about Doctor Strange was his training period. I felt like they rushed that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see more of the training period and more of him learning his skills and stuff like that. And I kind of wanted to see him use his skills a little bit more too. He didn't really. He was kind of getting his butt kicked almost the whole. I understand he was still learning and stuff like that.
A lot of people love Mads Mikkelsen, but the guy's a really limited actor. The guy who played the main villain, and like, yeah, he was kind of a weird like cult leader thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
But I'm very excited for the character Doctor Strange, and like I can't wait for the second movie to come out. And I do like all that magic stuff, that I don't understand. That's the part I like.
they're doing it really well. I like the visual effect of it, with like the runes written in like the light and stuff. Like it looks good. It's cool.
All right, so the next one we got is Thor. Vanessa's favorite one. That's Vanessa's favorite one is Thor. And I'm like, you just like Thor because of Chris.
we know which Marvel Chris is her favorite now. All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I don't know. I like every other nerd guy. I'll have like a mad like nerd crush on Kat Dennings. So I was like, oh hey, Kat Dennings. Now I think they could have like found a better character for her than like making up one.
Yeah.
Like I definitely would have rather seen her as like Felicia Hardy, Black Cat. Like she would have been fantastic for that. She got the right attitude, the right physique.
But I did like Kat. I just like her.
But I mean, like her character turns out to work out really well, and like especially like in WandaVision and stuff. Like, she's Darcy has grown.
Yeah, she's got like the quick, one-liners that just hit.
She's really good at the zingers.
Yeah.
So I liked Thor. It was a really good introduction of like the Asgardian culture as a whole.
Right.
Like the casting on it again, really solid. We got Anthony Hopkins. Now we're actually pulling down Oscar winners.
Right.
Like hardcore motherfuckers.
Yeah, this is when Marvel's like, oh, we gotta step it up with these actors, or maybe the actors wanted to join in at this point or something. But you're right.
Then like you get some people that you don't even like. Zachary Levi's in there.
Is he?
Yeah, the guy who plays Shazam.
Yeah.
He's Fendril. He's one of the three that follow Thor around. One of his best friends. He's the blonde guy with the goatee.
That's him?
That's Zachary Levi, dude.
Yeah, because I just saw Thor 2 today.
You don't recognize him, dude, at all.
Yeah, it's totally unrecognizable. But okay.
Yeah, and like the girl from Blind Spot is like.
Yeah,
Sif.
I knew that was the Sith girl.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's crazy. So yeah, Thor was really good. I liked it. It was solid. The Destroyer was like a great villain to introduce. They didn't go heavy on Loki, which is great because like they were like saving him.
Yeah.
Kind of like having him work behind the scenes.
They've crossed the point that freaking Loki is mischievous and
the kind of he's like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. He's pulling strings, he's doing his thing. And you don't like get that by constantly having the guy on screen. So they did a really good job of like keeping Hiddleston in the background.
Yep.
All in all, like it was a good movie. Like it was solid. I would probably put it in 13.
13.
What did I give? 12. Hulk was a 12. Nah, I give Thor a 10. It's over Hulk.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So now you're back on me and you are back on the same track again because I was thinking about 10 too. Because it is better. It is better than Hulk. They introduced the Asgardian. They also introduced a lot more S.H.I.E.L.D. That's the time you see Hawkeye.
That's where you get Coulson.
And stuff. And so, like, all that stuff was real interesting to me, like, learning about
Coulson shows up in Iron Man, but he becomes, like, really predominant in Thor. Like, he becomes an established character. S.H.I.E.L.D. starts becoming really developed and, like,